Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're stepping right into the ancient Aegean Sea to explore one of the most cinematic and genuinely philosophical tales recorded by the great historian Herodotus. We're talking about an absolute powerhouse of a tyrant, an impossible streak of luck, and a chilling warning from the gods. So let me ask you, can a person actually be too lucky? In our modern world, we're all sort of chasing that endless winning streak. We want the promotion, the wealth, the perfect life without a single hurdle. But in antiquity, having absolutely everything go your way wasn't a blessing. It was considered a terrifying omen. Let's see exactly why by looking at a man who seemingly had it all. Just look at the sheer wealth and power of Polycrates. Around 535 BCE, he becomes the tyrant of the Greek island of Samos, and his military muscle is just unprecedented. He commands this intimidating mercenary navy with 150 oared ships called pentekontoros, plus a land force of 1,000 archers. He's conquering numerous islands and mainland cities. He even utterly defeats the rival lesbian fleet in a massive sea battle, and then literally forces his captives to dig a massive defensive trench around his own city walls. He was undefeated, wealthy beyond measure, and constantly expanding his empire. That sheer dominance is perfectly captured by the Samanina. It's this stout, boar-headed vessel you see depicted on silver Samian coins from the era. Historical sources tell us Polycrates used fast, capacious ships exactly like these, packed to the brim with hired mercenaries, to maintain an absolute thalassocracy, basically total dominance over the sea. He plundered friends and foes alike. And his twisted logic for this? He reasoned that a friend would be way more grateful to get their stolen goods returned to them than to never have had them stolen in the first place. I mean, wow. Part 1. The Warning of the Gods. Because as you might guess, that kind of relentless, arrogant success does not go unnoticed in the ancient world. It actually triggers a supernatural warning. To really grasp this, we have to talk about theion, which translates to divine envy. The ancient Greeks firmly believed the cosmos demanded strict balance. The gods were inherently envious of mortals who experienced unmixed, pure happiness. If a human started acting like a god, never suffering, never failing, just always winning, the gods would inevitably strike them down to restore the natural, suffering order of mortality. And this brings us to a dear ally of our tyrant, King Amasis of Egypt. Amasis is watching his friend's unbroken streak of fortune, but not with celebration. He's watching with mounting horror. He actually writes a desperate letter to Samos, warning, "I know of no one who was successful in everything who did not end up completely ruined." He recognized that Polycrates' perfect luck was actually a deadly cosmic trap, setting him up for spectacular destruction. So Amasis gives him some truly desperate advice. He tells Polycrates he needs to artificially inject pain and loss into his own life to appease the cosmos and break this dangerous cycle. The advice was clear. Find the one thing you own that you value above all else, the thing that would cause your soul the absolute most agony to lose, and throw it away where no human eye will ever see it again. Part 2. The Emerald Sacrifice. Polycrates realizes his friend is right. The danger is real, and he needs to make a profound physical sacrifice to outsmart his own fatal fortune. He searches through his vast treasury and selects his most beloved possession. It's a magnificent emerald signet ring, beautifully bound in gold. Now, this wasn't just expensive bling. It was a one-of-a-kind masterpiece crafted by the legendary local artisan Theodorus, son of Telecus. Parting with this exquisite ring would truly cause Polycrates immense psychological pain. It was the perfect sacrifice to balance the scales. The tyrant puts his solemn plan into motion. Step 1, he boards one of his massive pentekontoros ships. Step 2, he commands the crew to row far out into the open waters of the Aegean. And Step 3, standing right there before all his sailors, he takes this priceless gold-bound emerald and hurls it into the deep, dark abyss. He sails back to his palace in agonizing grief. He had successfully broken his own winning streak. Or, well, so he thought. Part 3, the miraculous catch. Because, as it turns out, the cosmos wasn't quite done playing with Polycrates. The timeline of this is just wild. For days 1 through 4, the king is mourning his beloved ring. But on the 5th or 6th day, a humble local fisherman casts his nets and pulls up a fish so massive and spectacular that he refuses to just take it to the public market. He insists a catch this magnificent is only fit for the ruler himself. The fisherman proudly gifts this exceptional fish directly to Polycrates, who was delighted and even invites him to join the royal dinner. But then, the palace servants take the great fish down to the royal kitchens. They slice open its belly to prepare the feast, and what do they find glinting in its stomach? The ring was inside the fish, the exact same emerald signet ring Polycrates had thrown into the depths of the sea just days prior. The servants excitedly rush it back to the king. But for Polycrates, this wasn't a miracle. This was a death sentence. Part 4. The Inescapable Fate. We've reached the moment of dark realization, where the trap of destiny has firmly and finally snapped shut. Polycrates immediately writes to King Amasis detailing this unbelievable return. And Amasis does not celebrate. He is utterly terrified. Realizing that absolutely no mortal can save another from their destiny, he concludes that a man whose luck is so unbroken that the sea itself refuses his sacrifices is hopelessly doomed. To spare his own soul the grief of watching his friend's impending downfall, Amasis immediately sends a herald to Samos to sever their alliance and break off their friendship completely. And honestly, Amasis was absolutely right to run. The contrast here is staggering. On one hand, you have unimaginable luck. Polycrates eventually secures 40 triremes and possesses absolute wealth that the ocean refuses to wash away. But on the other hand, horrific doom was waiting. His obsessive lust for wealth led him right into a deadly trap. The Persian satrap Oreades lured Polycrates to Magnesia with the promise of endless gold. Despite the desperate warnings of seers, the greedy tyrant went anyway. Oreades brutally murdered him and had his body crucified. A truly horrific end for the luckiest man in the world. Herodotus perfectly utilizes the story of the ring to foreshadow the absolute ruin of Samos and its powerful tyrant. It anchors perfectly in an ancient proverb: destiny is impossible to escape. Polycrates really tried to manipulate his fate, to control the cosmic scales of luck and loss, but the universe simply handed his destiny right back to him, wrapped inside a fish. Which leaves us with this final, lingering thought to ponder. If a mighty king, commanding vast navies and absolute wealth, cannot even succeed in throwing away his own ring, how fragile is the illusion of our own control? It's a heavy question, right? One that echoes from ancient Greece right into our modern lives. Thank you for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning the world around you, and I'll catch you next time.